Javelina Men's Basketball fans, welcome to episode 14 of the Javelina Men's Basketball Show. My name is Andres Sandin, and the Javelinas are coming off an impressive win last Saturday against Eastern New Mexico and an unfortunate loss against West Texas A&M, but it puts them at 14-5 and 10-3 in conference. So, Coach Stell, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
So, Coach Stell, before we even start talking, we know about the tragic death of Kobe Bryant that happened this Sunday, and we know how much we love the game of basketball and what he means to this prestigious game that we surround ourselves on a day-to-day basis. But in your opinion, what does Kobe Bryant mean to the game of basketball?
When I think about, Kobe Bryant and he was coming along, got drafted in the year I finished playing here, 1996, I believe, number 8 pick. Up until that point, it was Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, all those guys I remember. And I remember this young guy coming onto the scene with a relentless approach to learning the game. Had some unbelievable confidence, but he had a learner's mentality, a worker's mentality. And it kind of brought me back to my days of how we learned in our generation of how to play. AAU wasn't really big in the state of Texas when I was in high school. Matter of fact, you couldn't even play AAU. You could only play some league. So a lot of our development as players were learned in the rec gyms, high school gyms, and you always played against older people. The kids today, they think playing older is playing against 17s and 18s when they're 14. Well, I was like 12 or 13, 14 playing against 30-year-old men or 25-year-old men, and some of them have been playing professionally in college and so on. So when I think about him coming into the league and Michael Jordan, challenging Michael Jordan, but also Michael Jordan and Magic putting their arm around them and teaching them the game is very important. Because it's what happened to all of us back then. We was always told that the game comes first, and you can't cheat the game and the integrity of the game. So the working hard and the competitive edge and trying to be the best, you had to work at it. Those are the things that I saw that he was prepared, through his father putting him on that stage with pros back in the day. But he had it in his heart. I went to learn a little bit more about him as a professional and see him evolve as not only a player but a person in 20 years in the league, and saw an unbelievable, relentless attitude to everything he put his hands on, whether if it was being a husband, being a father, being a teammate. Didn't matter, winning an Academy Award. He was an example of excellence. He was an example of talent, but talent that was never satisfied, and talent that always thought that it could be better. And he did that through his daily walk. And the last thing I wanted to say about it is ownership. Is you see the reports about the negativity around the incident in Colorado, but he owned it. He owned his mistakes. And to be around him, I would imagine you had to own yours, because he was going to be forthcoming first, and he was going to come from a leader's perspective, never from a follower's perspective. And it's just we need more people like that in the world today, not only playing basketball but leading us in every capacity.
And as for yourself, you mentioned that you were a father, and we saw in Kobe's later years after the game of basketball. If you stop and look at his story, 60 points in your final game, 5-time NBA champion, 20 years with your favorite team, 81 points in one game, second most all time. It's beautiful. But after the game, Kobe took his daughters with him everywhere he went, especially one daughter, which unfortunately she went with him. But as a father, like you mentioned that you were, how impactful was that for you to see how Kobe took his daughters in his wing throughout the remainder of his life?
Well, it shows you that he's such a selfless and unselfish person. He talked about his wife and his family from a very sincere standpoint. Quite naturally, we love our family. But, he backed it up. For 20 years, his wife stood behind him and his family, and they sacrificed. And that's one thing I would like our audience to understand. A lot of times they see pro athletes or coaches, and they think they get preferential treatment or they're treated, this way. Our families suffer in our quest to be great. We usually spend more time in coaching, raising somebody else's children, or finishing the end product of them as young adults. And if we don't have a good family at home, a good wife at home, and kids that are willing to accept that daddy may not be there every time, our lives can be a shambles too. And I think athletes both are unfairly judged sometimes because they looked at as being superhuman and not human. But when I looked at his approach and the time he spent with his daughters and his wife, Jaden sits on our bench, and that kind of is a heartwarming thing for me. And I've gotten so many people, rather if it's coaches in the league or fans that watch the game on TV, and they say that Jaden sitting on the side and he kind of came about on his own doing these things. It means a lot to me that he gets the chance to embrace this family that we have, the staff, the kids that play in this program, and really ideally all him and my son Javon, and also my two daughters, Jasmine and Jackie. They've lived a really good life to be around athletics, especially Jasmine, Jackie, and Jaden to see me as a professional and be a part of this, and to see how you handle situations, how to be a fan, how to be supportive, but also how to sacrifice and help other people. So when I see Kobe, or when I look at all the highlights like you do, I just see an unbelievable person, a man of great leadership qualities, a man that left the game better than when he took it, came on the scene. And I'm sure the private conversation that was shared between him and Magic and Mike, who were the best players back then, he heeded their advice, and he did good when he was on his watch. And that's all we're trying to do here as coaches. We're trying to do the best we can do as caretakers of this program.
And that's for this team. The focus shifts to this team. We're 14-5, 10-3 in conference. But before we elaborate on this team, we're going to take a look back at Pack the House night, which was a complete success. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way, but the crowd, Javelin Nation, came out and they supported our team. What did that mean for you as a coach?
Wow, I felt really disappointed in myself. I was devastated after the loss, quite naturally, and I didn't get to do a post-game interview to thank everybody. But, man, I really appreciated everybody coming out, man. The community, the students, it was huge. Man, those, it was a perfect setting, and, I just felt so hurt for them, and I hurt for our guys that we didn't come through, to fulfill our part of the bargain. It wasn't because we wasn't trying. It just wasn't that night. West Texas has a good program, and they're number 4 in the nation for a reason. But I wanted to, as I came out and I looked and I saw the culmination of everybody's work behind the scenes. Coach Gonzalez and Coach Weaver did a phenomenal job, writing scripts and doing things, making connections. Coach Miller in the community, yourself, Coach Mills on the campus. But, it's the Joe Bidrins as well who came through on their end, did an unbelievable job. Miss Valerie Hoops did a great job. But, it's two individuals that I really want to highlight, Erin McClure here on campus and L'Oreal Roberson. Man, those two ladies, I don't know if our audience even know who they are, but, boy, they are phenomenal. They do a lot of student services events here on campus. They spread their money but in their time around, just not through athletics, but the international students and different organizations on campus. But I tell you, man, those two ladies, since I've been here for 6 years, they have been phenomenal with making those kind of events what they are. It turned games into events, and I think that's where as a program we want everything to get, that a game becomes an event. And then you look at our cheerleaders, they did a phenomenal job throwing balls out and things like that. So you can go on and on, but all I can say is just express my gratitude to everybody that was a huge part of that.
And as for this team, we'd bounce back on Saturday against Eastern Mexico, but one thing stood out to me the most. Whenever John Mouton went down and he wasn't able to come back that night, he sat on the bench and cheered for his team relentlessly. What does that mean for you as a coach?
Well, it's one thing to say something. You've been around me enough to know. Words doesn't mean much without action behind them. Mm-hmm. And you know, you don't really know a person's heart until they put in that situation. And, you know, John was not able to continue that game. And as I watched him on the bench, it's funny that, you know, your eyes would turn to that. You know, you've been in this program enough to know what we value as a program. And I just think that that's what you do. You can always contribute. And I was very pleased to see him. He was coaching. He was inspiring. And it's not only when he plays well. I mean, he's had games where he's been the reason why we won and phenomenal, and we won. He's had games we won where he only had 1 point. But if you look at him in his commitment level, it's demonstrated. It's displayed. It's on display for everybody. It's not fake like some of you people, you know, younger people say today. It's genuine. And that's where I like. I love when kids are able to express themselves because, you know, like I said, it's one thing to say I'm committed. But it's one thing to demonstrate it and show it. And, man, I was very happy. And it helped us win the ballgame.
And now our focus shifts to this Thursday and this Saturday, which features Midwestern State and Cameron, which is on the road and pretty environments that are pretty far away from here. What are the things that are going to stand out to you the most as we try to get these 2 victories? What are you looking for in your team as the season progresses and the competition gets tougher?
Well, I mean, it's like after the Eastern New Mexico game, I spoke to the team, and, you know, I had a few people ask me after that game in the stands as, you know, we go by and we shaking hands as you know, kind of what we do. And they say, are you okay? You know, because they felt like I was sick because I wasn't, I guess, a little more animated than I was before. But I made a conscious note to myself to say, you know, I'm going to see could our team, you know, take this from a leadership standpoint where maybe I don't have to be as, you know, demonstrative or acting as a coach, and I want to sit back and see what they did. So I thought they did a decent job of that, and I think that's where we are in the season. And you asked a question about, you know, this coming up week. I want to continue to get better in the areas that we need to get better. Quite naturally, there's some things that we have to do better execution-wise. There's some things that we got to get healed up and, you know, things like that. But these 2 opponents are very worthy opponents. They're teams that are well coached. They present different issues to us. You know, every team in the conference, they may match up with you differently, and they do present some challenges for us. So we have to, from a personnel standpoint and from a program standpoint, not get comfortable and understand what our roles are. We have to understand it's time to shift gears. There's some teams that are looking with 9 games left, to be honest with you, and coaches and players that can't wait for the season to be over. Thank God that's not us. We have a lot to play for. We're in the hunt for a conference championship, and we have to continue to do the things that got us there. Let's take 1 game at a time. That's Midwestern at 7:30 on Thursday, and approaching them and attacking them in the way we need to. And then after that, turn the page with a 36-hour turnaround for Cameron.
Yes, sir. So, Coach, thank you for taking time to join me on the Javelina Men's Basketball Show. Good luck to you against Cameron and Midwestern.
Thank you. Hey,
Go Habs.
Prayers to the Kobe Bryant and family, the Bryant family. He was a man that I really would love to have met. But, you know, I know he's in heaven, and he's up there still doing what he did on the court and in the real world, making a difference. So we love you, Kobe. Love you.
1. Javelina Men's Basketball fans, welcome back to episode 14 of the Javelina Men's Basketball Show. Once again, my name is Andres Sandin. I'm alongside Wellington Stovall. So,
yes,
Wellington, thank you for taking time out of your day to join me.
Of course.
Wellington is a redshirt freshman from Houston Yates High School. So, Wellington, I mean, the Javelinas are 14-5, 10-3 in conference. And we've seen your role expand here recently. You've gotten a few good minutes. What's your mindset heading into those roles as you try to make an impact for this team?
My mindset coming into the games are always the same. It's just have a clear mind and just know what you're doing. I try my best to just focus in on what Coach Estelle and the coaching staff and the players expect me to do for the team, and just help the team any way I can. If it's having energy on the bench, clapping, uplifting, and when I get in the game, just try to do what I have to do to help win. If it's dive on the floor, get the loose ball, get the rebounds, it doesn't matter.
And last year, whenever you redshirted your first initial year here with the Javelinas, what was the biggest things that you took from that's helped you in your second season, in your first full season with the Javelinas?
The biggest thing that I took away from my redshirt season is there's no substitute for hard work. Because I remember my redshirt meeting with Coach Estelle. He told me that I needed to get in the gym more, and if I didn't, I'll be redshirted. And ever since then, that's just stuck with me. So I know that in order to be successful in whatever I want to do on the court, off the court, you have to put the work in. Got to put the time in.
And as for this team, we've seen a great leadership from John Mouton, Rashawn Thomas, Chauncey Thomas, Daniel Severo, our seniors. They played a big role. How much of an impact have they made on your success?
Oh, they made a huge impact. Before every game, and every time we talk, they always tell me, just go out and play your game. Don't try to don't try to go out and do what Rashawn does. Don't try to go out and try to do what Daniel does. Just go out and help the team as best as you can, and stay positive and have a clear and good mindset. So that's just what I try to do.
And as for these jerseys that we're wearing for the late, great Kobe Bryant, which is
Yes,
still
sir.
very saddening to think about it, but we reminisce because we're basketball fans. We love him. We love the beauty he brought to the game and what he did by all of his history. What is your favorite Kobe moment?
Ooh, my favorite Kobe moment. That's tough. There's a lot of them. I would say my favorite Kobe moment was when he was playing. I want to say Jason Williams, and he was in the gym before the game. Jason came in. He got his workout in, but then he noticed that Kobe was still going, and then after the game, Kobe had ended up with 45 points. Jason came up to Kobe and he asked him like what is it? He just wanted and he told Jason, he was just like, I wanted to let you know that you will not outwork me. So that's my favorite Kobe moment, and that has stuck with me because, like I said, there's no substitute for hard work, and anything you want in life, you have to work hard for it.
And as for Kobe, when did you know he was one of the best players in the game?
You know, growing up, Kobe was like my Michael Jordan. I didn't get to see Michael Jordan play, but I got to see Kobe play. Kobe was it.
Yeah.
So just watching all Kobe highlights, you shooting, you yell Kobe. It's just Kobe has always been that guy for me.
And as I like to conclude with all my guests, a fun fact about yourself that you think Howling Nation should know about you.
A fun fact about myself. I don't watch TV.
Why is that? Why don't you watch TV?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't watch TV.
Sounds good. So 1 to 10, thank you for your time, and good luck to you against Midwestern and Cameron this
Yes,
weekend.
sir. Thank you.
Go Havs. Javelina Men's Basketball fans, welcome back to episode 14 of the Javelina Men's Basketball Show. I'm alongside Coach Autumn Wolenzine. So, Coach, thank you for taking time out of your day to join me.
Thanks for having me.
So, Coach, as you've seen our season, we're 14-5, 10-3 in conference. Whenever you watch our team, what are the things that stand out to you the most?
The enthusiasm, and the drive, and obviously the energy. And I know that the big part of the energy comes from, the coach and how much energy he brings to it. So, and it's translated very well to your team. It's very fun to watch.
And as for yourself, your tennis, and Coach Stell was telling me that y'all are teeing off this upcoming week. You're entering your 6th season. When did you know tennis was a sport for you?
Very early. I started playing when I started taking lessons when I was about 7 or 8. It was one of those things that my mom got married to my stepdad when I was about 7. I was always a tomboy, but I think he bought me a tennis racket just to so that he could be on my good side. And he played tennis as well up until I beat him, and then he quit.
And as for yourself, you're a coach. You coach the sport here at this university. Whenever you talk to your girls, what are the biggest things you try to tell them whenever they're about to tee off against someone else?
It's just about, everybody is talented. Everybody can hit a ball. Everybody can hit the ball hard. It's about their focus. It's about their intensity, their belief in themselves, to be courageous, to be relentless. That's one of our mottos is being relentless. We talk a lot about resiliency. Because in tennis, somebody's got to win the point every point.
Yes,
so, how you bounce back and how quickly you bounce back. And if something happens, do you let it affect you, or do you, take it in and move on? And
as for your relationship with Coach Stell, you were telling me you came in at the same time he did. How has that relationship evolved over the years?
He's like a big brother to me, literally. you know, I've had some rough moments here, moving from Atlanta to Kingsville, and from a big city to a small city.
Oh yeah.
Or small town. And I mean, literally, I mean, the first day I was here, he took me in. He treated me like his little sister.
That's awesome.
I've been to you all's Thanksgiving dinners.
Oh, that's awesome. That's unbelievable.
You know, he's just made me feel a part of his own family. So that's really been important, and the reason I've stayed too.
And as for yourself, you're wearing a jersey to someone that's very dear to us who passed away on Sunday in a tragic incident. What's your favorite Kobe Bryant moment?
To be honest, I'm from Chicago, and you know, I didn't really like the talk about, you know, comparing Kobe to Michael Jordan. I understood why, you know, he is a great player. You know, and both have had a huge impact on basketball and sport. I am a huge Kobe fan off the court, and mainly for the reasons of watching him grow up. You know, in basketball, in the spotlight, and how he's handled himself through mistakes he's made and how he's bounced back from those. You can't deny his drive, I mean, the things that I talk about, resiliency, you know, relentlessness. You can't deny the fact that he fell in love with women's sports, and if anything, we absolutely needed an advocate in him.
Beautiful
you know,
story.
You know, the way he followed and became a face of almost a face of the WNBA.
Amazing.
Is huge, you know, and especially being a coach, a female coach, and you know, the way we need others to support women's sports and know how important it is for young girls and for women.
Yes, ma'am. Well, luckily Kobe was a very good role model, and his daughter loved just being under his wing, and it's unfortunately that they had to go together, but that was God's plan. So, Coach Autumn, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me.
Thank you.
Go Habs. Javelina men's basketball fans, thank you so much for listening to episode 14 of the Javelina men's basketball show. Once again, my name is Andres Landin. I'd like to say thank you to my guests, Coach Johnny Estelle, Wellington Stovall, and Autumn Wallenstein of Tamook Tennis. The Javelinas will be back in action this Thursday against Midwestern State, and then they'll face Cameron University on Saturday. And then they'll be back on the court next Thursday. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the Javelina men's basketball show. Thank you so much, and go Havs.